Welcome to the DMF. I am your host, Justin Yance, and this is episode 20. Now, we're going to talk about, a little bit about my life, maybe. Cinemas opening back up, the last episode of South Park, the debates, the president being sick, a little bit about SNL, and we'll end with a little wrestling talk. So, stay tuned. Okay, so things are going well in my life. I kind of teased you with that. This is kind of part of my life, so let's talk about the cinemas opening. I'm very excited about that. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and finally the cinemas are opening. Unfortunately, Regal may be going out of business. They seem to be closing up shop, which is very sad. Apparently, the new James Bond film, No Time to Die, has been delayed once again to April 2nd, 2021. So therefore, unfortunately, I think they're upset. The thing I don't understand is they're putting it right up against Fast and Furious 9. I don't think that's the type of films that want to be fighting each other. So I expected the date to change again. Also, Black Widow is being delayed till May, so it'll be a whole year delay as well as with Fast and Furious. The Chi one, I'm not sure what the name of the title is. That'll be the Marvel film after that, and after that, in November, we'll get Eternals. So it's going to be a whole year of not getting the Eternals, which upsets me because I haven't even gotten a trailer for Eternals, but that's where we're at. Unfortunately, this is upsetting because I really want to see Black Widow, but I feel that's what they're going to do. But yeah, Regal possibly closing. I think this week my first movies I'm going to see are Tenet, the Christopher Nolan film, so I'll let you know what I think about that film next week. And Akira is being re-released in theaters for a week, and I really want to see that, so I'm very excited about that, and a little disappointed that fortunately we're not going to have many films. So let me talk a little bit about some of the books I'm reading. I just finished a book called Hook Point by Brendan Kane, and 1 Million Followers, also by Brendan Kane. And he is somebody who has worked with Taylor Swift and other media brands in helping them create their exposure. It's a really interesting book. I recommend you check it out. Another book I'm reading now, I haven't finished it yet, is How to Be a Capitalist Without Any Capital. That kind of sounds funny, huh? How to be a capitalist without any capital. That's like saying how to be a banker without any money. So Nathan Latka, I believe I'm pronouncing that name, is the author of that, and it's a really interesting book. So I suggest you read or check it out. Let's move on. I'm going to talk a little bit about the South Park episode, the Pandemic Special. I thought this was a terrific episode, really true to form. They addressed the cop violence, they addressed COVID-19, they addressed the president, they addressed a lot of things. They addressed social distancing. I mean, it starts with Randy finding out, setting up that he is going to do a pandemic special because now he sells weed. And Cartman sings a song because he's so excited about social distancing that he has found a way to trick his class into thinking that there's a malfunction with his computer while he just goes and does whatever he wants. And he has a stick that says 6 feet, which is hilarious. Then as the episode goes on, they find out that they figured out where this disease came from, and it did come from a bat. And then Randy Marsh has a flashback of him having sex with a bat. So realizing that if they find this bat, they'll find out that he caused the pandemic. So he calls Mickey Mouse, who he was with during this pandemic. I know this sounds kind of like all over the place, but yes, he was with Mickey Mouse at the time, and he finds out about that. And then he finds out that it didn't come from a bat, it came from a pygmalion, some animal that I had no idea was an actual animal until I heard the name and had to look it up. So he has to try and capture that. So the whole episode is about Randy Marsh trying to make sure that his wife doesn't find out that he created COVID. And the kids now go back to school because they find out that the teachers have been replaced with the cops. So the cops are now doing that. And Cartman is being brought in and he's fighting them tooth and nail. And he starts coughing on Kyle and Kyle starts punching him. And the cops shoot the only black kid in South Park, Token. Like for no reason at all. And now they're held in captivity or quarantine as it is. And the kids say, excuse me, why are we here? You're the ones who shot Token. And they said, oh, yes, because of COVID. So it's almost like a prison world for these guys as the cops are treating the school like a prison. And Butters is going insane. A lot of things are going nuts. So they call Mr. Garrison, who in previous seasons, in the 2016 season, morphed into Donald Trump. So he's their version of Donald Trump. And they ask him to get him out of, help them. And he says, well, I can't help you because I need COVID to happen because I promised the people I would get rid of all the Mexicans. And the kids are like, yeah, but it's killing more than just Mexicans. But he's like, but it's killing a lot of Mexicans. So they're all frustrated with that. And Stan's going into this like denial and doesn't know what to do. So they finally decide to break out and go to Build-A-Bear to help Butters there. And they get him there, and Randy Marsh finally comes to he comes up with the idea that he finds out that he has the cure to COVID, so he starts masturbating into all of the weed that he's selling, but unfortunately the side effects are that they get a mustache. So Randy Marsh, and then they find out that it's not actually helping them. So Randy's all upset, and at the end, he's going to come clean. He says, here's the animal, because he stole the Pygmalion, or whatever it's called. And it's like, here, take this. You'll find out what you need with this. And as soon as they give it to the cop, Mr. Garrison, a.k.a. Trump, burns it with a flamethrower and then takes off. And then Randy's about to just tell his wife the truth, and he finds that his wife has basically been smoking marijuana the whole time. She has the mustache, and he's like, you know what, I'll let you know about that later. So, really funny stuff. I'm not doing it justice. Go watch the episode. Really funny stuff. South Park is the only people that can be fair to both sides. They're so just good at talking about topical events. So I recommend you check that out. So we will continue next. As I find the thing there. Okay, so I watched a couple of films. I watched the film Do the Right Thing and the movie Splice. Splice is a science fiction / thriller. I don't know what to actually classify it as. Maybe / horror. Science fiction / horror. They decide to splice things and they create a person, and it goes weird. And Adrian Brody does a really good job, and Sarah Polley does a good job. And basically, it's kind of like I don't know what's the literary device that I'm looking for, and then it's almost like it's they're looking at what it's like to have a child, but instead using it as this clone thing. The last few minutes of it dissolve into anarchy and stuff, and it just becomes kind of a monster movie, but it's shot well, and it's got a lot of interesting things. There's a lot of things that the movie could have been more of. Some things I didn't think they explained well enough, but I get why Adrian Brody and did I say Adam Brody? Yeah, it's Adrian Brody and Sarah Pauli took it for, because it really, this kind of couple that are kind of trying to come to terms with having a child end up having a clone and end up kind of raising it like a child. And, they kind of, is the word I'm looking for analogy? I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. But anyways, it's an interesting film. I don't have a lot to say about it. I liked it. I might see it again. It's on Netflix if you want to check it out. The film that I just finished watching was Do the Right Thing. And I've seen this film before, but this is Spike Lee's magnum opus. This is a wonderful film. There's that word again. Guess I can't go one podcast without mentioning the word wonderful. So, Do the Right Thing. And this film just shoves you right in there with, I believe it's, what's her name? Rosie Perez. Rosie Perez dancing to Public Enemy's Fight the Power. And the way it's shot is so cool, and it's so boom, fight the powers that be, That's my bad impression of that. It's an interesting film. It takes a look at race relations in a neighborhood in Brooklyn in 1989, on like the hottest day of the summer, and it looks at it from African American ways. It looks at it from the Italian American way. It looks at it from the Dominican and the Puerto Rican way. You're seeing all these sides. You're seeing it from the cops. You're seeing all these things. They're all kind of like about to clash. And the film's called Do the Right Thing. The question I have for it is, did he do the right thing? And then I started thinking about it a little more, and I started to realize there really is no right thing. Do the Right Thing, in some ways, is an interesting title, but the more and more I think about it, the more and more I'm like, there really is no right thing. There's actions and there's ways to go about it. Now, at the end, Mookie takes the trash can and throws it in, and they burn Sal's place to the ground. Now, I'm not for property damage, and this is one of the things I look at, and I'm wondering, is this where we're different in the races? Do we see property in different ways? I don't know. It's a question I'm asking. It was a controversial film at the time, but I feel like it's a great film, and it tells it from such different sides, and neither one is considered right or wrong. It almost turns into like a documentary type feel. Because even as the place is burning down and the police, the firemen are trying to put it out and they're trying to stop them. There's no like way of saying like, this is right, this is wrong. And I like that Spike Lee put that in there. So the question, Do the Right Thing, from his point of view, maybe that was the right thing. I think the more important thing though is, there really was no right thing. There's just options. And to him, that was the best option. And it's so well made. There's just the angles, the way they did it, the building up to everything. I can't believe that guy that plays Buggy actually is going to end up being Gus Fringe. That's who plays Gus Fringe. That's just hilarious. He's a wonderful actor. There's that word again. Huh? Yeah, that's 2 times I've said it. 2. Maybe we can keep a record of how many times I say wonderful. But Do the Right Thing. Really politically charged, provocative film for its time. And it's still very provocative. And it ends with 2 quotes. One by MLK and one by Malcolm X. And you can look at both quotes and you can decide which way you're in. To be honest with you, I lean towards MLK because I believe power is within. Force is not power. It's just forcing things through. I look at Gandhi as a person that was of power. But these are very, These are sensitive subjects. But that's what I have to say about Do the Right Thing. Go see it. It is a wonderful film. 3 times. 3 times. See if I can say keep it going. At one point I said it 10 times in one interview. But let's stop with that. I'm not going to say that word anymore. Let's just stop saying that word. Now I'm going to move on to a little bit of politics here. Actually, let's talk a little bit about, I just saw SNL. I thought Alec Baldwin did a great job as Donald Trump, and Jim Carrey did a phenomenal job as Joe Biden with, his kind of like, hey, I'm going to straight shooter. He was a little bit of Clint Eastwood with a little bit of Fire Marshal Bill for you in Living Color fans. It was funny. It was good stuff. I enjoyed it. But the thing that most, I think, a lot of people are kind of torn between is the Chris Rock monologue. And he questioned government and politics in general. And some people are like, well, why did he say this? Why did he say that? And I think it was a good thing that he said, because he brought up the idea of, is this the best we can do with government? Is this really the best? He said, we fought to get away from kings and queens, but we've created dukes and duchesses in some ways with our political system. And there's some truth to that. And I thought that was a ballsy move for him to go out there and say that in front of the people. He didn't pick one side or the other. He said, I don't think we're doing enough as government to take care of people. And I thought that's an important moment. I mean, it's easier said than done, but it's something that we should look towards. How can we make this better? How can we make this more democratic? We elect people to vote for us. There's a little ridiculousness to that. So I applaud him for mentioning that. So let's move on to the debates. This was frustrating. This was very frustrating to watch. There needs to be some kind of penalty for talking out. I don't know if you talk out, your time gets deducted, or you talk out and they add time to somebody else. Something has to happen. We can't have that kind of debate. We didn't learn anything. It can't be a food fight for all. Some people are like, yeah, you hit them with zingers and hit them with that, and it should be fighting and this. It's like, no, it should be a discussion of policy and ideas. And more people think that we should just, continue the idea of just crushing the other opponent, or making it so the other opponent can't make a point. And it's frustrating to me, because there are a lot of people in America who tune into this debate not to see the food fight, but to see a civil discourse of ideas. Civility. Civility is something that needs to be protected. And I feel like that's something we're losing more and more of, is civility. One side says, yeah, the hell with you. And then the other says, no, I'm not taking that. These things can't. This is not going to lead to healing the divide. So I thought some moments were good. I mean, when Trump, attacked him and said, you just lost the left, that was kind of funny. It was a nice little zinger there. And then when Biden turned to the camera and looked at the American people and talked to them, I thought those were great moments. But it can't be this interruption thing. We can't have that. We cannot have that. We saw a little bit of it in the Hillary Clinton debate. I didn't like that either. That's not what politics should be. And that's what I have to say about the debates. Now moving on to the pressing image. Coronavirus has hit our President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and his wife, and Chris Christie, and Kellyanne Conway, and Tom Tillis, and the list goes on and on. This is not good. And most of this all happened because Hope Hicks had this, and they, from various points, some people say they knew about it, some people say they didn't know about it. The point is they weren't wearing their masks, and they were able to spread this. This is not good. We need to wear the masks. This should not be a partisan issue. This should be something we can all agree on. This should not be a Democratic thing. This should not be a Republican thing. This should be a thing where we agree with and say that this is how we can protect ourselves. And people that want to say that it's a hoax or that it's not real, I'm like, look at that. That shows you how dangerous this is. Look at the football teams that had to, look at the Patriots. They had to cancel the game and push it to Monday. These are not normal things. These are signs that we need to protect ourselves as best we can. I'm not saying we walk around with a mask. I go to the gym, I put on a mask when I go to a certain station, then I take it off because I got to work out. There's no way I can work out the way I do with a mask on. And then I put it on and I go to the next station. But you know, one of the things that I do, I clean my station up. I take the little bottles that they give us and I clean it. It's about respect, and we need to respect each other. And the best thing we can do is wear the mask. And when people are saying we shouldn't wear the mask, and that's something I disagree with the president on. He had a chance to agree with masks, and he didn't. And those are his words, not mine. And that's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate that he has this. And the more and more I hear about this, it's like he may be better now, but we don't know the true effects till the 9th day. This can go all the way to the 9th day. This is a scary world we're living in, and we need to protect ourselves and wear the masks and do what we can. And that's something we can do. And that should not be a bipartisan issue. So I wish the president a speedy recovery. I wish all the Republicans and anyone that has this a speedy recovery. But take care of yourself. That's all I have to say on this issue. I'm going to move on to the next segment, which will be about professional wrestling. So if you'd like to click off, now is your time to do so. Okay, let's talk about professional wrestling. We're going to start off with the new thing that just came out, I believe Wednesday. That edict that Twitch and third-party things will be turned over to WWE, and if the profits that they make of it will count on against their downside guarantee. So they're taking this from their paycheck. This is wrong, and I hope somebody like Paige fights this. She's no longer an active wrestler. She has built her audience. She does not need to pay WWE for her audience that she cultivated. And if she changes her name, which she did, to Saraya, I think is her real name, then that should be her prerogative to do what she wants to do. This idea that WWE owns your real name is ridiculous. And this is something that Andrew Yang has actually attacked and said that, you know, this is something we're going to look at. This independent contractor thing. Because if you're telling people to do that thing, this and that, they are no longer independent contractors. They are employees. If you want to treat them like employees, then you need to pay them like employees. And they want to have their cake and eat it too. And this is unfortunate. And I hope the guys fight this and do not stand for this, because they have no right to take that from them. None. And I side with the wrestlers on this, and I hope they fight it, because their Twitch account, their YouTube account, their Cameo accounts, all these accounts, their Instagram accounts, energy drinks, endorsements, they came up with it. This world where UFC's tried to do this too and take away their endorsements, this should not stand. This should not stand. Because if you're going to call them independent contractors, then they have those rights. If you want to call them employees, then you need to give them employee benefits and rights. And this is the thing that they're doing, and it's carny, it's carnival barker aspects, it's sideshow stuff, and it's Bush League stuff, and it's lame, and I don't agree with it, and it upsets me, and I hope Paige and a lot of these guys fight it. AEW's not doing this. This is WWE, and they deserve all of the criticism they are about to get. So let's move on. Let's talk about the G1. G1 was great this week. I'm going to talk about some of the matches that I watched. I watched Naito defeat Hiroki Goto. This was a good match. I liked it. I mean, it's your typical Naito Goto match. Sorry, Naito Goto. Naito Goto match. Naito won with the Destino. Good stuff. Liked it. Liked it a lot. Ibushi, Kota Ibushi defeated Jeff Cobb. That was another good match. I like that. Nothing spectacular. The match that I'm going to get to that really I liked a lot is Will Ospreay versus Jay White. This was stupendous. This was awesome stuff. Really good stuff. Will Ospreay defeats Jay White with the Stormbreaker. Yeah, I believe he defeated him with the Stormbreaker. But he has one of the best moments in there. At one point, Jay White tries to slap Will Ospreay, and Ospreay laughs and has this look on his face like, "Are you serious? Is that what you're going to do?" This was good. And Will Ospreay is the first man to defeat Jay White in the G1, or as he wants to call it, the J1. So I'm really impressed with this. I think they did good job highlighting Ospreay. Ospreay is so good. Jay White is so good. I still think Jay White is going to be the guy to win this thing, but who knows? Tanahashi, he continues to just look like he aged 6 years. It's amazing. I am so amazed with him. Hats off to him. He defeated Yoshihashi. Great match. It was a good match. High fly flow. Shingo versus Ishii. Ishii wins with the vertical suplex. These guys beat the crap out of each other. It wasn't my favorite. My favorite was the Will Ospreay versus Jay White. But this was good. This was a close second. Sanada defeats Naito. He's the first man to defeat Naito in the G1. Good match. Good match. Sanada's one of those guys. They can always elevate him. Yeah, I'm really happy with the G1 so far. Okada won his match. But the matches that I would say you need to watch were those 5 matches that I mentioned. The top, in my opinion, was Jay White versus Will Ospreay. Then watch Shingo versus Ishii. Then watch, then I would watch probably Naito Goto. Or no. Watch Sanada Naito. Then Tanahashi, Yoshihashi. Then Naito Goto. Those are the 5 that I would pick for the G1. So go watch those. Raw was awful. I could care less about anything they're doing. They did something where Randy Orton attacked Ric Flair, Christian, and Big Show and HBK were playing cards backstage, and he turned off the light and apparently hit them all with chairs, and they were left laying. It was stupid. I don't like it at all. I hated it. I really don't want to talk about Raw. It's just awful. Watch the G1. SmackDown was good. I like SmackDown. They started the show with Roman Reigns giving a plea to Jey Uso, saying, "Listen, I'm not proud of what I did. You think I'm happy with what I did? I did what I had to do, but I didn't want to do what I had to do." And he comes off like such like a character of stature. His words have weight to them. And he said, "Look, you want another match at Hell in a Cell? You got it. And these are going to be, but the consequences are going to be different this time. These are going to be high stakes." And when he said that, if anybody else said that, I wouldn't believe him. But with him, I'm starting to believe him. He said, he told Paul Heyman, he said, "Don't call me the tribal chief. Until he calls me that, I don't want to be called that." He's completely reinvented himself, and he's doing something completely new. The only thing I can compare it to is Bret Hart in 1997. It's new. everybody else comes off like a cartoon character. He's speaking like this, this feels like a character in a film, not a character in wrestling. He just comes off, he has this stature to him, this confidence that comes off. He may be a better actor than Rock, the more and more I look at it. He comes off like such just somebody who commands your attention. And I love this Roman Reigns. Whatever he's doing, continue doing it, because it works. It works. And then right after that, AJ Styles came out, and it was like a cartoon character. Like, it's two different characters. We need to get away from that. Roman Reigns is just talking. He's trying to insult the audience. He's just doing it in a way that the audience doesn't like. And that's a real heel. Because he's got motive. His character is deeply layered. I can't say enough good things about it. I just love Roman Reigns and everything he's doing. And Jey Uso defeated AJ Styles, so he's moving up. He's elevating Jey Uso with what he's doing. Sami Zayn defeated Jeff Hardy. It's a good match. But Roman Reigns is the show. And Alexa Bliss seems to be smitten with The Fiend. And I think The Fiend is probably going to be the guy that's going to face Roman Reigns, or it's going to be Goldberg. One of the two. But, man, powerful stuff. Powerful stuff Roman Reigns is doing. Really powerful stuff. So let's talk a little bit about AEW. Got a little stuff here. Cody cut a promo. I didn't really like this promo. I thought it was a little too stagey for my taste. The ending was it ended with Eddie Kingston choosing the Butcher to face Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley defeats him. Good stuff. Paradigm shift. Good stuff. I liked AEW. This wasn't my favorite. It wasn't as good as last week, but it was good. MJF may be joining Chris Jericho's team. I don't know if they're going to do that. They seem like they're teasing it. Those are the only things that really stood out to me. And they're going to have a tournament to decide who's the number one contender, and that's going to conclude at Full Gear. So probably in January or February, which will be a whole year after, we'll face Jon Moxley. I think it's going to be Kenny Omega. I think this is the return of the Kenny Omega we all love, and I think he's going to do it as a heel, and I think it's going to be good stuff. It will be, no pun intended, glorious. Oh yeah, Bobby Roode returned and lost to Drew McIntyre. That's in WWE Raw. Good stuff though. I'm excited. Not my favorite show of all, but stuff. Now let's talk about the show that happened tonight. We had NXT TakeOver 31, and we unveiled the new Capitol Wrestling Center, which is what they're going to call the Performance Center. And it looks like the Thunderdome, except it's square, and they got all the screens around it, but they got cages and everything. It looks really gritty and cool. I really liked it. I thought it was much better than the Thunderdome. It's more my style. So I like that. They started the show with Damian Priest defeating Johnny Gargano for the NXT North American title. Good match. Kushida defeated Velveteen Dream by submission. Kushida's got like a whole new character to him. I liked it. Santos Escobar defeated Isaiah Scott for the, he retains his NXT Cruiserweight champion. Io Shirai defeated Candice LeRae to retain her NXT Women's Championship. Really, Io Shirai is like the best performer, one of the best performers. She's so good. That was such a good match. And Candice LeRae held up her part of the bargain. And she finished with the Spanish Fly and then landed a moonsault for the win. It was good. I think it was the match of the night. Toni Storm appeared on the monitors and says she is back and she's in NXT. So that is good because she's an awesome worker and she should have been on TV a long time ago. So she's now on NXT. Ember Moon showed up in Mad Max Fury stuff, and she's the person that the surprise person, and I don't know, I don't really care because Ember Moon doesn't really do anything for me. She kind of was destroyed by the way Vince booked her on Raw and SmackDown, so maybe they can do something good with it. And then Finn Balor faced Kyle O'Reilly. Finn Balor defeated Kyle O'Reilly with the coup de grace. I thought this was... I would have had Kyle O'Reilly defeat Finn Balor. I don't think Finn Balor needs the belt. Maybe make his reign a little shorter, but have Kyle O'Reilly defeat him and have him be the little splinter in the breaking up Undisputed. And they did. They ended the show with I forget who the guy was. Ridge Holland appeared in the crowd with Adam Cole, and he threw his lifeless body out there. I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's all staged. I think he's going to end up being the fourth guy, and they're going to turn on O'Reilly, and it's going to be a feud between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. I think he's going to become a face. This kind of had shades of Orton, when Orton kind of broke away from Evolution, because they had Finn Balor shake Kyle O'Reilly's hand. It was a really good match. I liked it. Not as much as I liked the women's match. Well, actually, no, it was really good too. It's just I don't know. I don't like the booking of it. I think they could do a better job booking it. But yeah, I think this is going to lead to the breakup of Undisputed. So that's what happened in the world of professional wrestling. Let's see how long I've talked for. 15 minutes here on this. I could go into detail, but this is going to become an hour. I think I'm going to have to start splitting this up into two things. We're going to have a wrestling show and then everything else, because the wrestling is taking a long time and I can't really go into detail with anything. But yeah, this was It was good. I liked it. Good 2.5 hours. So if you have a chance, go out of your way to see Takeover 31. So that's about all I have today to talk about on this show. And I would like to say thank you for watching. As always, you can reach me at my handle, Justin Yance, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Everything, I pretty much use that name. Or the DMF, you can use that. So I want to say thank you for watching. Actually, listening. Listening. And I will see you next time on the DMF.